Hi guys, so it's September 21st in the straw bale garden and I have a ton to harvest, and I constantly have people message me and ask me how my harvests are and if I enjoy straw bale gardening, and to compare it to my raised beds, which there is no comparison. We have to carry in our own dirt because we have clay soil here and it's just not ideal for growing. And so in comparison to the soil we bring in from my raised beds, the straw bale garden was so much more low maintenance, and my harvests were literally at least 10 times the size of what I got in the raised beds. And watering, now that it's cooled down some here, it's in the 70s, I'm only watering like maybe once every 2 or 3 days for about 45 minutes with one sprinkler. And during the hottest parts of the summer, I watered once a day. Sometimes I'd turn on a drip line for a little bit, but really not a lot of watering for the straw bale gardening. And pests are minimal. I started out with a lot of fungus gnats, and I think that it's because I just started too early when it was still too wet out and my straw bales were new and they were decomposing, and it was just the perfect environment for them to thrive in. So I'll see what it's like next spring. I will be using these bales again is what I'm hoping for next spring, and I'm bringing in bales and putting them into my raised beds in the other area. I'll be replacing all of my garden area with straw bales eventually, and I'm hoping to do that at the end of this summer, this spring-ish. I'll probably be done with that. So anyways, other than that, I have some aphids on like my leafy greens every once in a while, but it's all organic. I don't treat with anything. I use neem oil every once in a while. I've used diatomaceous earth once for ants, but other than that, I just haven't had a lot of issues with the straw bale garden and pests. So I'm going to set the camera up and do some fast forward harvesting down each row today. So I've picked from 10 of my tomato plants and I already need a new basket. We don't save our harvests, and by that I mean we don't come out like once every couple weeks to harvest. I harvest almost nightly for what we're using for dinner and try and leave on the plant what we're not using right then, or I'm not canning, but we harvest probably 4 times a week at least. So from 2, 4, 6, 8, 10-ish tomato plants, I already have this much. And I'm gonna have to go get another basket, or I'm gonna end up squishing these. Okay, so this is what I got from my first row and a half of tomatoes. I have lots of green ones on there still, but this is about all I want to pick for what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to preserve some, make some pasta sauce, and some dehydrated tomatoes, and like sun-dried tomatoes, maybe even a tomato powder for like soups and stuff, just depending on how much I have left. And I might come out here and pick what's left after that. Okay, so I got all of my tomatoes and I've got my cucumbers, and peppers were the other thing that the straw bale just did really well with. They thrived this year and we've had months and months of harvesting peppers. So I'm gonna go down the row and grab what I want. We're gonna make some lacto-fermented hot sauce, and I don't know what else we're gonna do with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick what I have ready down that row as well. Okay, guys, I just realized how many peppers I have, and there's no way anyone wants to watch me pick peppers even in the fastest mode I could put it on for that long. So I'm gonna turn the camera off, pick the rest of my peppers, and then come back. Okay, so I finished harvesting what I'm going to for today. I left eggplant and basil and some beans and my squash and pumpkins and some zucchini and lots of chamomile, kale. I have lots of kale and rainbow chard. I have lots of stuff still in here, but I picked a lot of the peppers. I left some so that we would have fresh peppers for the next month in the garden still, because I can still probably leave those in until mid to end November. Sometimes I have to cover them, sometimes I don't. Sometimes peppers like our warm days and our cold nights, and they do fine. The tomatoes probably can only stay for another 4 weeks, and then I'm gonna pull those here behind me and, oh, the bumblebee, and replace them with something else. I think that the rainbow chard is fine. I'll leave all those in still. I have bok choy and more kale and broccoli and lots of carrot seeds and beets and leeks. Lots of things, shallots that do well in the fall and winter here. And some of those things I can grow all the way through January and February just in my raised beds, the keyhole gardens that have the compost in the center that help heat up the soil. So I think that the straw bales will probably do just as well, if not better, and I might have to put a hoop over them to cover them, but I'm gonna see how far I can extend our season with it. So this is my haul for today. The peppers, I'll probably use maybe half of these for a good big batch of lacto-fermented hot sauce. So I think I might dehydrate a lot of the chilies because we love putting that in our Thai food. And the rest I'll probably smoke and make another sauce with. Lots of tomatoes. Like I said, I'll be doing some sun-dried tomatoes with these, and cucumbers. I don't even know, I already have so many pickles. I don't know what I'm gonna do with those. I'll probably just make some Thai cucumber salad that we love after I make the chili sauce with these peppers. And anyways, I kind of sometimes feel that I'm cheating the system by having the straw bale garden, because I've been doing gardening for like 8-9 years now. Every year it's grown bigger. I've tried different methods like lasagna gardening or sheet mulching and the keyhole gardens and raised beds, and straw bale has been my favorite so far. It's the least amount of maintenance. The most maintenance there is that I didn't do a great job of covering the ground underneath where my wood chips are. So the grass does come up and weeds through there, but it's nothing that I can't weed eat and then put more cardboard down and chips. So that's probably what I'll do again here in just a couple weeks before winter hits and everything gets real tall and green. But for me, straw bale gardening has been really successful, and I think it's an easy way, even if you have just like a pavement or driveway to grow, that you could just put straw bales on right on top of and have a really great garden out of it. Even balcony space that you can have a great garden out of straw bale gardening. I'm just gonna keep growing mine, and we'll see what I think in a long-term wise in another year or two, but by this time next year, all of my garden will be straw bale gardening. So I'm gonna let the ones in the raised beds decompose and fill those beds, and then I'll decide if I wanna put more on top or if it enriched the soil enough for a season to just do that. If you guys have questions, I'll try and answer them. I'm pretty new to it, so feel free to send me a message and I will do my best.